You ever wait forever in a freezing concert line, doing everything right, patient, polite? And then some entitled stranger tries to shove her way ahead like the rules don't apply to her? Well, that night, karma came in the form of a steaming cup of tea, and I was the one holding it. Hey everyone, welcome back to Extra Revenge. If you love stories where karma hits just right, make sure to like, subscribe, and grab a drink. Because this one's got a warm twist you'll feel all the way through. Last weekend was supposed to be perfect. My friends and I had been hyping up this concert for weeks, tickets booked early, outfits picked, playlists memorized. We were in our late 20s, but that night felt like we were back in college again, chasing a bit of that carefree energy. We got to the venue early, thinking we'd beat the crowd. We didn't. The line stretched down the block, twisting like a human snake. People huddled together in their coats, rubbing their hands, trying to stay warm in the biting wind. The air had that mix of excitement and impatience, like everyone knew it was going to be worth it, but still hated every second of waiting. I was holding a paper cup of hot tea I'd grabbed from a food truck nearby. Steam curled from it, soft and slow, and honestly, that cup was the only thing keeping my fingers from freezing solid. My two buddies, Luke and Matt, were cracking dumb jokes just to keep spirits up. We'd been in line for about 45 minutes when it happened. You know that moment when you can feel someone behind you who's way too close? That tiny invasion of space that makes your neck stiffen before you even turn around. Yeah. That's when I noticed her. This girl, maybe mid-20s, high ponytail, designer jacket, was weaving through the line with her friends like she owned the place. They were laughing, bumping shoulders, pretending not to notice the annoyed looks they were getting. And then, right when I thought she'd pass us by, she didn't. She stopped. Right next to me. She glanced at the line ahead, then at her friends, and I swear she smirked before shoving her way forward, right between me and Luke, like we were just background scenery. Luke blinked at me like, is this real life? Matt muttered, nah, no way, under his breath. I gave her a polite, excuse me, hoping she'd take the hint. She didn't even turn around. Just kept inching forward, heels scraping the pavement, one hand clutching her phone, the other adjusting her hair like she didn't just bulldoze through two human beings. Now, I'm usually a chill guy. Crowds suck, people get pushy, fine. But after standing in that cold for nearly an hour, I wasn't exactly feeling generous. I shifted my stance a little, you know, the this spot's taken stance, hoping she'd get the message. Instead, she leaned forward, shoulder brushing mine, and muttered something to her friend about how people need to move faster. I felt my jaw tighten. And I swear, if tea could boil hotter from pure irritation, that cup would have exploded. But I didn't say anything yet. Instead, I glanced at Luke, who gave me that grin, the one that says don't do anything stupid. And I wasn't going to. At least, not yet. Then she pushed again. Harder this time. Like she was determined to carve her own VIP lane through human bodies. I stumbled a half step, my cup sloshed, and that's when I looked at her, really looked at her. She wasn't drunk. She wasn't confused. She just didn't care. Something inside me clicked. That tiny, quiet voice of justice, or maybe pettiness, whispered, she's asking for it. 69,160. So I stood there, tea in hand, pulse rising, pretending I wasn't bothered. But she just kept edging closer, like every inch she gained was a personal victory. At one point, she even turned her head slightly and said to her friend, loud enough for us to hear. People are so slow. It's not that serious. That was it. I don't know if it was the cold, the waiting, or just her smug tone, but I was done playing polite. I glanced at Luke. He knew. He tried to hold in a laugh because he could tell from my face that I was about to do something I'd later call an accident. The line shuffled forward again, just a few steps. She saw the tiny gap, lunged ahead, and that's when I'd lost my balance. It wasn't dramatic, no big flailing or anything. Just a little stumble forward, the kind that happens when your feet slip a bit on cold concrete. Except this time, my hand tilted slightly, and the cup of tea tilted with it. A small splash arced through the air, landing squarely on her jacket sleeve and shoulder. Nothing crazy, no burns, no mess, just enough warmth to make her freeze mid-step and snap her head toward me. Her mouth dropped open. I gasped right on cue. "Oh my God. I'm so sorry, it's so packed here." She blinked at me, completely thrown off. Her friends went quiet, the smug confidence on her face melting faster than my tea steam. I handed her a napkin, still putting on my best concerned citizen face. "Here, seriously, I didn't mean to. It's just nuts in this line." She took it, hesitated, then just muttered, "It's fine," under her breath and backed off. Not a full apology, but she finally gave us space. Luke leaned closer and whispered, "Bro, that was the most beautiful accident I've ever seen." Matt started coughing, except it wasn't a cough. He was laughing so hard he had to cover it with his sleeve. "The best part?" She didn't try to move forward again. She stayed behind us the rest of the wait, quiet, sulking, occasionally brushing at her sleeve like she could wipe off her bad attitude. When we finally got inside, the place was electric. The lights, the bass, the roar of the crowd, it hit us all at once. But even with the music pounding, I couldn't stop grinning. Not because I'd spilled tea on someone, but because for once, the rude person didn't win. For once, there was a little bit of justice, just enough to balance the scales. As the band started playing, Luke leaned over and shouted above the noise, "Hey, you still got that tea power, man." I laughed. "Nah, I used it all on Karma tonight." We clinked our plastic cups of soda together and sang along until our voices cracked. And somewhere behind us, I imagined that girl probably learned that cutting in line isn't as harmless as she thought. It's not a grand act of revenge. It's not life-changing. But sometimes, all it takes is a tiny, well-timed accident to remind people that respect still matters, even in a crowd. If you've ever seen Karma work its magic like that, hit that like button and subscribe for more real-life revenge moments every week, because sometimes, payback doesn't need to be loud.